Hi, in this video, I'll be doing a feature demonstration on policy governance and separation of duties, policy workflow. How to enable the workflow feature to eliminate erroneous policies in production environment. Demonstrate with 3 users with the minimum mouse permission needed to perform their task. Here is a diagram for setting up this policy workflow. We have 3 users with different permissions: policy author, policy reviewer, and policy deployer. Policy author only have the permission to create and edit policies. Policy approver only have the permission to review and approve policies, and policy deployer with the permission to only deploy policies. In this video, policy author J. Marston writes a policy, then submit it to policy approver A. Morgan to review. If the policy is approved, policy deployer D. Van will deploy the policy. If the policy isn't valid, J. Marston will have to edit the policy accordingly and request the policy approver A. Morgan until approval. Now we're familiar with the process of policy workflow. When should you enable the policy workflow? For our CloudAz software, we typically have 3 different environments: the dev environment, the pre-product environment, and the production environment. Our dev environment is where policies are created and verified. In this step, no policy workflow is enabled. Only valid policies from the dev environment will be moved to the pre-production environment for further verification. On our pre-production environment, only valid policies from the dev environment will be migrated here, and policy workflow is also enabled for the owner to review. Final improved version of the policy can then be moved to our production environment. On the production environment, all policies will be typically approved or pushed back to author before a certain planned downtime for sanity tests. During this short downtime, all approved policies will be deployed at once. To enable the policy workflow feature, you'll need an account with system administration access, particularly access to system under a configuration. Go to Applications and click on the Policy Workflow Enable. Click on Save. Now let's log in as John Marston, who have limited access to the policy model on Policy Studio. Go to Policies. In my policies, we can see we have 2 new tabs called Status and Workflow. Right now, our policy status is inactive with the information mark. This means the policy is open for editing. The policy is created and saved, but is not submitted for review. Let's go to this policy. And on the top right corner, we have Saved and Submitted for review. Now my policy is in review. This means the policy is submitted to the reviewer. Because John Marston does not have the permission to review or deploy, on the top right corner, we do not see any options to review or to deploy this policy. Go back to Policies. Now we see our workflow status in review. And once again, in our permissions, we do not have the permission to deploy this policy or to review it. Now let's log in as the policy approver, A. Morgan. Go to Policies. We can see on the top right corner, we have alerts of 2 notifications. The policy workflow is in review, and also John Marston attached it with a comment. Go to this policy. And on the top right corner, I have 2 options: push back to author and approve. If there's anything that seems inappropriate in this policy, then I can choose the push back to author option and let John Marston modify this policy and send it to me again. But in this case, I think the policy is already mature enough. Let's click on Approve. Our policy has been approved and ready to deploy. Now let's log in as the policy deployer, D. Van. Go to my policies, and I can see the status of this policy has been changed to approved. Let's go ahead and deploy this policy. We can see now we don't have a workflow status, and our status for this policy has been changed to deployed. In addition, if the policy we deploy on our production or pre-production environment is decided to be flawed, we can always rewind back to our previous deployed version. With this, we conclude our video on NextLabs Policy Governance and Segregation Policy Workflow. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the NextLabs channel, and stay tuned for more CloudAz use case videos.